Hi, Christine here with Scrap and Rabbit, and today I have another quick video. It's a little video tutorial on how to make these two-sided flowers for dangle charms and to use as planner embellishments or journal embellishments. So this flower is made with one piece of ribbon. You could take two flowers and attach them together so that you get the same view on both sides, but this is just made with one piece of ribbon. It's super quick and easy to do, and I will show you how in this video tutorial. So this one is it's made of an organza style ribbon, and I attached some little pearls on there. I stitched these on, and then I stitched my chain, and I attached some dangles on the end. So in the tutorial, I'm just going to show you how to make the little flower embellishment. And I did list a tutorial recently that shows how I make my dangle charms. And here's another one. This one is made with black lace, and I just use buttons for the center. And then I attached a little charm underneath the flower, and then my chain is up on top. This is similar to the orange one, but I made it with the yellow organza, and this is the one that I make in the tutorial. And then I have this pretty white lace flower, again with some beads in the center. And this one I attached to a gold paper clip. I've got a little piece of chain there, and you can use this as a bookmark in your planner, and it just dangles down like that. So let's get started with the tutorial. This is really quick and easy to make. I start by cutting my ribbon to measure about 12 inches. This is a thin fabric ribbon, and it's going to give me quite a fluffy flower. You don't necessarily need to have it that long, but you can make it a little bit shorter if you like. But I really like the extra fluffy look that this gives me. Next, I've got some thick thread on a needle. You can also use embroidery thread. Actually, I think that's what this is. It's 2 strands of embroidery thread together. So this will give me a nice strong stitch. And I'm going to start, you want to stitch right in the middle. So I'm going to start in like that with the needle under the fabric, and then back on top, and then back under and back on top, all the way down the piece of ribbon. And my stitches are about quarter inch. And I want to stay in the middle as much as possible so that my layers will be even. And I started my stitching on top going down, so I'm going to finish from underneath going up. So now I can gather up like that, and I'm going to tie my 2 ends together like that. I'm going to actually first I'm going to flip it over so that instead of tying it like this with these ends ending like that, I'm going to flip it over, and it's going to hold the very edges of the fabric together. I mean, you're not going to see it much anyways because it's going to be so ruffled, but I like to do that. Now I'm going to tie this in a knot, or in a couple of knots. And you want to leave a fairly long piece of thread, because I'm not going to cut this right now. I'm going to attach my flower centers before I trim the thread, and also if I wanted to attach a chain, I would use the same thread to attach it. Okay. So now what I do is these two sides of the thread, I'm going to place these together, I mean these two sections on either side of the stitching here. I'm going to flatten these out together, and I'm going to find the middle of the flower. So here's my stitching. I'm going to flatten that down and find the middle. So here's the center, and the thread is in between the layers here. So this is where I would attach my center, and I think I'm going to use some beads. Maybe I'll try this little blue bead. No. Oh, this would be nice. I'm going to use this black bead, and I've got two of them. I'm going to put one on each side. So I need to bring my thread up to the top, close to the center, and I can attach my bead. And this is also going to hold the fabric flat. Then I'm going to put my needle down opposite on the other side of the flower. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to feed this through my bead. And then I'm going to go on the opposite side of where my thread came out. And I'm going to stitch here, and it's going to come up close to the underneath of the first bead. You want to keep stitching as close as possible to the middle. And then I tighten. I think I'm going to put another stitch through here on both beads just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Now, when I come back out, after I finished attaching my beads, I'm not going to come out the top. I'm going to come back out in between the layers of fabric, close to where this little tail is. that's just around here, and then I can tie a couple of knots. And that's how I attach the bead to my little flower. If I wanted to, I could stitch some more beads around, and I would do the same thing on the other side. So let's see, maybe I'll do that with these white beads. So I'm going to come back up the front, and I'm going to stitch close to my black bead and then come back on the other side like that, and then I'm going to put a bead on the other side. So I'm just going to keep beading back and forth like that. So that I'm doing both sides at the same time. And when I'm down to my last bead, I'll do the same thing as for the larger beads. I'm going to run my needle just halfway through the layers, and come out close to my tail. And then I can tie it off. That way the little knots are hidden inside the frilly part. And I think I'm going to attach a piece of chain to this one, and I'm going to make one of those little dangle charms. So I'm not going to cut this just yet. I'm going to use this little silver tone chain, and I already have my lobster clasp attached up there. I'm not too worried about weight because this is quite light. And I tie my knots. So these would also make cute little keychains or zipper pulls. And now I'm going to cut off the excess thread. And this is ready to embellish. So I'm going to put some little charms on there and make it into a little chunky charm or a little planner charm or purse charm. So I hope you found this little tutorial useful, and you got a new idea for a different type of flower. Have a nice day and happy crafting. Bye.